If you're an average player, you want to be left alone, right? Because you want to be able to slide by. If you're a good player, you want to be coached. If you're a great player, you want the coach to tell you the truth every day. Did I hustle on that play? Did I make the right read? Did I play the guy with the right leverage? You want to know every play. Because you know why? They want to be perfect. Everybody here makes a choice to do one of those three things.
Welcome to the GOAT Consulting Podcast, a podcast dedicated to people striving to be a GOAT, the greatest of all time, serving it up in a way that you can get it in all stages of life.
Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the GOAT Consulting Podcast. I am not Colby Jubinville, but I am John Byers, and I'll insert that hesitation in as a nod to Colby. He is still on PTO, and you are with us here in VCE Studios in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. Across the table, we have the one that dons the crown of the GOAT Empire, Tyler Burnett. You also have our good friend.
On the edge of a seat.
What's that?
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Tyler does not
I'm so excited to be here.
He does not like where we cut off the episode last week. He made it very clear once we shut that down. So just so you guys get a sneak peek to behind the scenes, we did edit that part out because it's not for your kids. So here we are again. And we do have Rachel Layton, as you might have known her originally, now Layton Smith.
Yep.
That has joined us as a co-host here, our first guest ever, and now our first co-host ever. So, Rachel, it's so good to have you back with us.
Thanks for having me
Big
back.
things happening.
This is an episode that is dedicated to the GOAT, the greatest of all time, and for those that want to be the GOAT in their own life, business, and relationships. We try to serve it up in a way that you can get it, and we do that by trying to deliver a unique perspective, a unique education, and a unique experience for those that are just getting into the game in their 20s, those that are moving up in the game in their 30s, those that are trying to stay in the game in their 40s, and when we get into our 50s where we ask ourselves what we really want. A good quick nod to our friends at Dev Digital, who turns everything into a digital solution and success for you. Check them out at devdigital.com. Brian Huddleston, our good friend that runs the show over there, actually had a GOAT when he joined us on the show, and that GOAT was Walter Carr, who is joining us here today, and we cut him off a moment ago. Hopefully you didn't get too angry with us like Tyler that you decided to stick around with us for the back half of this conversation and this fascinating, fun GOAT story. So, Walter, you left us hanging last time where you were by the way, if you haven't listened, pause the episode, go back, check out the first half of this conversation. You want to hear this backstory. But Walter's going to pick up right where he's knocking on the door sometime mid-June, 3 years ago, almost to the day, and catch us up. So you're dropped off at the door. What time is it when that first knock on the door, first day on the job, to which you have just made your way to Pelham from
Yes.
Where was it? The city?
Homewood. Yeah.
You left at midnight. You made what was going to be a 7-hour and 25-minute walk, but you had some friends along the way that helped shorten that drive. And you are about to knock on the door. Yes. Catch us up right there where you left off.
Well, really quick, just for a time check, you told us you were going to break the record of the 7 hours. So did it end up being 7 total hours still?
No, we literally crushed that 7 hours.
Just like you knew you would.
Yeah.
Like I said, we were gonna crush that. I think we beat it by 3 or 2 hours.
Wow.
So I was like, yes, I knew I was gonna beat that. I'm gonna beat this one way or the other. If it kills me,
Yes.
I'm gonna beat it.
I think we all believe that for sure.
For sure.
So where the time frame, the first knock on the door, I'm not mistaken, it's between 6:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning. And officer went ahead first. He said to make sure it's okay with them that I stayed there because he was just in awe. So they told him, he came back to the car like, they are with you coming in, staying to the moving company to get here. So I come in, I meet Miss Jenny, her husband, At the time, I did not know the kids was there, but they was downstairs, sleep still. So they they didn't have no odds I was there to the moving company until we all started moving. Now, taking Miss Jenny and them wasn't ready to really move yet. So
Right.
I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. So I get in, Miss Jenny. I know how moms are. The first thing, oh my gosh, are you okay? How you feel? You need something to drink? Have you eaten? I was like, the officers already took all that. I just need a phone charger to charge my phone. It's going dead. And then I'm good. She's like, you want to go upstairs and go to sleep and everything? I'm like, we literally argued for 5
Wow.
minutes before I really won the argument because you can't really win with moms
Yeah.
in arguing. So it's like
Wow.
somehow I won. And she's like, okay, fine. And I was like, I looked around, I could see they were still packing. I said, well, I can help out. She's like, no, you. I was like, I can help out. Since I'm here, I can get you ready. So we took that hour in time frame to the movie team got there, and they was ready. They was ready, because at first they wasn't, and I helped them pack and everything. Then I met the kids. It's like you could tell they're waking up. Who is this guy that's down here? My mom pack this stuff up because they just walking
Who
up.
is this packing angel?
Right, because they didn't want to do
That's
it.
right.
Of course.
So that time frame, the movie coming to pull up, and Miss Jen Tyler, let's go outside, meet the team. I'm introducing myself to the team. I am Walter, shaking hands. As I'm shaking hands to everybody, Miss Jen like, tell them how you got here. And I was like, I wasn't gonna tell nobody I walked. I was like, I just, just me. I'm like,
Why?
Like, tell them how you got here.
Why didn't you want to tell him? What was in that for you?
I don't know. I didn't want to bother nobody with the situation. I didn't think much of it. I was trying to get the word.
Your humbleness.
So I won't, yeah.
Yeah.
So she told us like, well, he walked here. She beat me to it. She's like, he walked here, and the
Wow.
whole team was mad at me. They're like, what? But they were mad, but joyful at the same time for me showing up and taking that extra step to come because they had people.
An
new
extra
recruit-
few steps, we might add.
Unintended.
Right.
Yeah.
Because many recruiters don't show up to the first day of the job. They leave them hanging a man short. And we
Wow.
really needed a whole crew that day because Miss Jenny had a big house to move. So they're like, well, do you know, get a ride back home? I said, well, Miss Jenny and her husband said they're going to take me home. He's like, no, we figured out. And the team's like, one guy's like, I take him. The other guy's like, I take him. At the end, they trying to play paper, scissors, and rock to who take me home. He's like, we're going to get you home. They're like, why you didn't call nobody? I said, well, I didn't know how the app worked that well. And when I did see the numbers, it was like out of state numbers. So I'm just like, one said Georgia, one said Tennessee. I don't know nobody in Atlanta, Tennessee. I didn't want y'all to
Wow.
drive for extra time. I thought y'all was driving from out of town to come move somebody. I didn't think much of it. So I said, I didn't call nobody. So we get moving. Now we doing the moving. Everybody get along. It's hot outside. I think it's like 90 something. Again, I have joggers on.
Wow.
Everybody else got shorts on and everything, but we all sweating. We get it done. I think Miss Jenny had us booked from 8 to 3. We crushed that time. We got done 12:31.
Oh
We
gosh.
got her moved in.
I see a theme here. Like you crush timelines.
That's my thing. I gotta crush it. Like I'm driving anywhere. I'm crushing the time you said I'm gonna arrive by how much I can.
Yeah.
You said I'm gonna take an hour, 30 minutes. I'm gonna cut it into an hour. I'm gonna get there. So at that point, Miss Jenny, love Miss Jenny. That's They like my second family. Her and her kids. I have to go see them when I'm in town again. And we was moving, and at this point, I'm drenched into sweat. At this point, my teammates seeing that you can see that my body is physically incapable to keep going, but I'm still going.
Mm-hmm.
I got heat cramps, my arms folding up to like this, that I gotta force them to open back up. I'm drinking water after
Wow.
water after water after water. And I'm
Tired as can be.
tired, and I'm still going. My team like, man, just take a break. All right, no, I'm good. Let's keep going. Let's just keep going. Like, bro, take a break. Just take a break. So like, I take a little second break. Then I get back at, did we not just tell you to take a break? I'm like, no, I don't know what break is. So my shirt is drenched. My pants are drenched. It's like I just jumped in a full swimming pool and just came back out. So Miss Jenny, loving mom, loving lady, told she had a son. And she was like, well, he come in his hammock, like his old clothes. Put these on so you can be cool and you can be more comfortable. So I go upstairs into the new bathroom, which they haven't been in yet. Let me change and get myself together and continue to move. And it was just great. And once we finished the move, I sit around and play with the kids. I played basketball with her kids. Wonderful kids. All her kids are great. She had 3 boys. They are wonderful. And we literally played basketball with them. And then it started pouring out, raining, and the driver of the truck, one of the truck drivers, was like, well, I'll take you home because I live in that area. And he took me home. He got me something to eat. He's like, look, get you something else to eat and everything. And after that, fast forward, a day or two go by. Again, I did not know what Miss Jenny did at the time frame till Luke, my boss, the CEO of Bellhops, called me. And again, in my mindset, I see my boss is calling me. I'm thinking I'm in trouble. What did I do wrong on that move? I'm like, I'm trying to think of all the strategies, what I did wrong. Didn't think of none of the walk. I just literally didn't think none of it. He called me and said, Walter, I just want to say, you set the bar for determination for anything I have ever seen. Like, it was a bar here, but you just really took that bar and just threw it somewhere else.
You crushed it.
Like, literally. And I was just like, well, thank you so much. You know, I just want to keep my word to y'all that I was going to be at work, and I kept my word. And he was like, well, I got a surprise for you. I got 2 surprises. One, do you remember the lady that you moved? I said, yeah, Miss Jenny. He's like, well, she wrote a story about you on Facebook. Do you have a Facebook account? I said, I do, but I haven't been in Facebook, and somehow I left it alone. I got to remember my password on sign back in. So he ended up sending me a picture of what she has posted, and she told her whole story. She told the whole story. I'm just like, I did not expect her to do that. And he like, well, look at the bottom. It's going viral. People to this right now still liking it, commenting, and sharing it, and it had got so much. So when I finally got into my Facebook account, the original post got deleted by mistake somehow. I guess it probably crashed itself because it was going berserk.
Right.
And she had to post it again, and it went berserk again. People were like, where's Walter? I need to meet him. I come fix his car for him myself. He comes. It was just so much going on, and I was just like, wow. I didn't think much of it. I just walked. He's like, did you? People like to the day after, do you think anything of it? I said, I didn't think it. I was just walking to work. I was literally just going to work like everybody else. I just had to walk there to get there, but I got to work. And Luke set me up. Luke, if you're hearing this and watching this, you set me up. Because he told me we were getting coffee the next day. I think I'm finna meet the team, everybody else that's in the company. I thought we finna go out to eat. He's like, do you like coffee? I said, well, I don't drink coffee. I drink hot chocolate in the morning. That's my coffee.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
That's my coffee to me. He's like, well, this place sells hot chocolate. I said, sounds good. I'll be there. So now I take it, the place I had to meet him to, again, I still don't have no car. I had to walk there. So I beat him there, and the place was 30 minutes away from my apartment at the time frame, and I beat him there. And I don't think in the time frame I walked by, I don't remember seeing nobody set the situation up, the cameras and everything. I just walked down, sitting there waiting on him, like, hey, I'm here. I'm like 10, 15 minutes out. I said, okay. I'm like, I beat him here. Nice. Just sit here, relax, catch my breath.
Yeah.
So he pulls up, and he gets out the car, but he wasn't driving. I didn't pay attention to the car. I thought it was like his wife or something that was driving the car. She drove off. Maybe she comes back. He's like, well, we talking. I'm at. And then he's like, well, let's walk somewhere. I want to show you something. I said, okay. So I'm walking, thinking none of it. As we get closer, he was like, now I see the cameras. I see the news team. I see the cops. I see Miss Jenny. Everybody's standing outside this place. Excuse me. And he's like, don't get nervous in there. I was like, that's too late now.
Yeah, don't get nervous.
Like, you guys see these people? So the first thing I did, when I saw everybody, I went straight to the officers to shake their hands because I didn't think I would see them again. And I'm like, well, thank y'all for what y'all did because you didn't have to do that. You know, feed me and everything. So I thanked them and said, it was good to see you. We caught up. I went to hug Miss Jean, as you see in the news story. And from there, it just went from there. People wanted me to do video interviews, TV interviews.
And you got a car. You
got a car.
You got a car.
The car. When he told, I don't know if you can see my reaction. It took me a minute to realize what he said. He's like, I want to give you my
Wow.
car. And I paused because I'm like, he's playing.
You're giving me
I
your
think I'm
car
being-
to use,
Wow.
or
for a day or two, in my mind, everything there. He's like, no, for you to have. And I was like,
Wow.
oh my gosh. I'm in that mindset. I'm trying to hold back the tears. I'm like, I
Sure.
want nobody to see me crying. This camera in my face. I want nobody to see me crying. No. It was just all because it's like I
Mm.
give Luke so much praise. Today I still work for them. Even though I live in Huntsville, I still when I'm ever in time in Birmingham, I go do a couple moves.
Yeah, I bet
And I
you.
meet
I
them.
bet they always have that door open for you.
Yes, I love it. And hopefully one day I can run a business, Luke. Just gonna put that out there. Just gonna put that out there. I mean, I can do that. And there it went. It was to a point that I was doing so many. I didn't know what was going on and how to functionate. How I don't know how y'all do it. The fame and celebrity of it, of how people just wants to know all about it. I didn't know all that, and so it was like scary because I was scheduling things and then think about how long it's gonna take and how this set. I did not know that. So one day I came into an interview, my shirt was on backwards, my
Oh.
headband for bellhops was upside down. I was like physically there, but mentally I was
Wow.
drained. Cause I was like, she's like, Walter Carr said, Miss Jenny, I haven't got no sleep for real. I got maybe 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep.
Mm.
And I was just like, people always calling me. I don't know how people got my number. It's just somehow my number got links of people calling me. Hey, Walter, I just want to say congrats and everything. I was like, man, it's 12 o'clock at night. I'm trying to sleep. Trying to sleep.
where is the do
But
not
then-
disturb button on this thing?
Walter,
Right.
like what is the I mean, so many, as I hear that story, there's so many takeaways. What is the big takeaway for you? Like what do you walk away from that story with? If you can objectively, and you can't, but if you could possibly like look at that story, like what do you take away from it?
I take away from somebody that doesn't take no for an answer. Like they don't take that barrier and look at it like, oh man, that barrier too big. I'm gonna walk off. I took it as somebody took that wall, crushed it, went through it, over it how he had to. He got over that obstacle, and just showed that no matter what's going on, it's my quote. I like to say, God makes it like everything is a mental thing. Once you think something you can't do, you're not gonna do it. Like, say we in a gym, and Tyler says, "Once I can't do that last rep." Now his body is not gonna let him do that last rep. But if he thinks he can do that last rep, he can do it. Because I feel like God put us on this earth for things to be possible, not for things not to be possible. Because that's the case, he would have made us. So everything in the world is possible. Don't let nobody tell you it's not. When somebody says it's impossible, just say, I'm gonna show you, and you go out there and do it.
So our mind gives us suggestions, and then we get to decide if they're true or not.
Mind over
Yeah.
matter, right?
That's true.
My takeaway is this. It is a story for me of how much better we are with each other, how much further we can go with each other than we can on our own, and how you were wrapped around by these other people along the journey that day, that 20-mile journey. And I would imagine if I'm Jenny, or if I'm Luke, or if I'm you, everybody feels like they got the most out of that story. I would imagine, like you do, Jenny does, Luke does, like those police officers, like to be a little part of that. We are much better. I feel like one of my favorite movies, probably a GOAT at some point, Gladiator, when he says, whatever comes out of those gates, if you want to survive, we got to stay together. That is a story of
That's a great example.
That's what I feel and hear when I hear that story.
Yeah, because
What's coming to you, Tyler? I mean, I know you're into sports too, and it's easy to affiliate like a football team. Like the quarterback's important, and in this story, you're the quarterback. But there's a whole system that operates around you, or it had to make it work. So what do you think?
I mean, I'm just thinking back to one of our last episodes about trust and just the trust that the team has in you after this first thing, and then just the trust that your girlfriend must have, and your family, and your business wise, and trust is everything. And the fact that people can trust you to show up, and not just show up, but crush expectations and crush goals, and the trust is the biggest key in all of these stories. That whether it's your determination to get to work, or your determination to finish a goal or a task, or whatever the case may be. I mean, without trust, none of those things happen.
Yeah, and your trust in people, these strangers, that they're going to do right by you. I mean,
and vice versa.
You're
right?
so vulnerable in a moment that you've been walking for so many hours. You're tired. You're physically just exhausted, in the trust that they're going to be good to you in the process. I mean, you're sitting there, you're exhausted, and a police officer pulls up and puts their lights on. You're like, man, this is not what I was hoping for right now. It's the opposite of rest. This is, the opposite. But yeah, I think for me, it's generosity. I'm in hospitality by trade. It's how I live my life as well outside of work. And I think about the generosity of what you kept being generous with every person, and you were so generous through the whole process. Like, you're generous with your girlfriend in the beginning. I'm not going to put the stress on you as you're going through the whole process of all this struggle. Your generosity with the dog, even to try to get it back the right direction and throw a ball back, to get that dog back to the owner. And then even showing up so early, that's generous to your coworkers. You're loving the business that you have opted into, but being so generous again to pack for a family. You probably weren't getting paid for that necessarily. And, then to stay after and, enrich their lives and play basketball with their kids. Again, it's just so much generosity. And then it kind of replicated itself tenfold with the police officers who paid for your meals, Miss Jenny, who set up the GoFundMe, the car. All this generosity came from all this goodness, and that's abundance. And yet really came from your abundant mindset of like, I can do this.
So go ahead, Walter.
Because the GoFundMe account, I did not know about it until
talk about that. That's where I was going to go, but tell everybody about
2 weeks after, and at that time frame again, at that time, Miss Jenny, a good friend, Miss Whitney, which is my manager, I love her. She, after a while, took over for all the things for me, the social media and stuff like that, because I was struggling, and she started setting up interviews for me because I was being a radio interview. And people would call and text, Walter, remember you got this thing in 10 minutes. I'm like, I'm still in this interview right now. Give me an hour, I'll call you, and we get it situated. And thanks to Ms. Whitney for stepping in and helping me out, because I didn't know what I was doing. And so one day we was in the interview. I was going to do an interview for Fox 6, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember who it was. I know it was the news team. And the GoFundMe had reached a certain amount, and I was like, wow, people really care for me in the walk. And she's like, this amount is good enough for me to get me through school, and there's what else I need to do in life. And I want to donate some of the money to somebody. And she's like, okay, you have any organizations in mind? Of course, you got the biggest ones. You got the cancer kids and other people. And I said, I want to do something different. I want to give back to kids like me and people out there. And I was like, well, I found this organization I was in school called Birmingham Ed, which is short for Birmingham Education. I said, they are an organization that came when I was in 10th grade in high school, and they helped me become who I am that me as today as Walter. Like, not shy, closed up, like I can talk, they taught us how to get ready for job interviews, how to speak, how saying and like so much, and things like that. So I'm like, I want to give them at this cut point off where the money stops at. From here on, wherever else people give me, even though people was mad, we shut it off the first time. People were so upset at Miss Jenny and Luke that they had to reopen it up again. And when we closed it out again, people still was upset, like we still want to give money. We can get to this goal. And I was like, well, I feel, and I really thank everybody, for everybody I haven't got the chance to respond to, thank you all for your love and care and the support. I'm glad my story touched you all. And
it got to what did it get up to?
it got to like 66,000. I'm not mistaken, close to 70,000.
Wow.
So, and you subtract that month to what was left, I donated $25,000 to the Birmingham Education Foundation to give back to the students at my school I went to, or any school in general for any kid. Because I look at it as you show. Well, my scholarship is different for other people. Not knocking nobody else's scholarship. I make it to a point that you can do either write an essay or show me a video, and just show me how you overcame obstacles in your life. Show me that you got determination. Show me what makes you different for everybody else. Show me what's that extra push, and it's always great candidates. I'm always the person. I told the team at Birmingham, everybody wins with me. Like everybody's gonna win. If you don't get the scholarship, you're gonna get something. That's just me. So the Walter Carr Award was born. I did not know about it until the Steve Harvey show. Because Steve flew out my good friend JW Carpenter out to the show. He hid him from me. He even changed his name at the hotel. So when I looked into the crowd, he stood up.
Yeah.
I like you as you see my reaction was just like, what? When did you get here? And he was like, he wanted to do the Walter Carr Award. And I was just like so honored because I never thought from that walk to now I'll be in that position to touch anybody or just be able to help anybody, because the money with the scholarship is you can take it. It's just your money. So if you go to college, it helps pay for books and whatever else that you need. And you probably have a little bit left over. And so, and I tell students, some students like, well, I might not want to go to college. Okay, that's fine. College ain't for everybody. It's different opportunities, but don't take, like, this is your money, it's your thing. Do what you need to do with. And I try to have that conversation with them, let them know that, hey, anything in this world is possible. Make it happen. And so to today, we're in our third year. I think this is our third year of the Walter Carr Award. And so we're going to keep going. I'm going to try to keep it going for generations to pass it on to the next person. If, when I, like you say, get to 50, like, oh man, I'm kind of don't want to do this no more. But hopefully, by God's grace, Earth it's still going. The scholarships keep going.
Well, we're gonna find a way to help, at least with our part in helping it keep going. So we'll make that commitment to you. And what a cool thing that you did. I will tell you, I imagine. First of all, I don't think you'll ever know, not on this earth at least, the impact that you've had with the walk. I just don't know that you ever can. I mean, how many parents have used it as a teaching moment for themselves, hopefully, and their kids? I mean, I will tell you, this last Sunday, my son, who I'm very proud of, got his first job this summer, lifeguarding, got certified. I mean, he's doing great. He asked me to drive him to the pool in our neighborhood to drop him off for the start of his shift. And I said, son, I'm so proud of you and I love you. And I can't do that on principle based on the conversation I'm going to have later this week with Walter. I'm not going to drive you 10 minutes to the pool. You got to walk that path. Look, we all have a walk. We all have to walk that we have to do. So he was not in that moment a very big fan of yours, but I know one day. I know he will be. So
one kid walked up to me in the store. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
one
please.
Kid walked up to the store, and he's like, "Ain't you Walter?" I see you. I'm like, "Yes, I am." It was funny. He's like, "I don't like you." I'm like, "What did I do? What did I do?" And the mom's like, "I'm so sorry. I used you as an example. Most of the times when you want to do something, he's like, oh, I don't feel like doing it." But Walter did. I'm like, Mom, I'm like, son, I'm so sorry. Look, it's not my fault. I did not know.
It is your fault. It is your fault. And it's awesome. And it's awesome.
It's your fault. But he said, I love you. I was just messing with you. I like, it made me laugh and too, because I was like, wow, people actually use me as an example. Well, that's what goats get to do. And as we start to wind the episode down in this conversation, which has been such a joy, one of the ways we like to honor the guests is we have a segment, as we might call it, the things that we think and do not say. And it really comes from the movie Jerry Maguire.
being 23, I would make up you might have not seen that movie, but you need to watch it. It's so fantastic, and you would love it. Jerry Maguire, the beginning of the movie, which sets the stage for the whole movie and this next segment, he writes a mission statement. It's not a memo, and he's very clear about those two things. And the mission statement is named "The Things We Think and Do Not Say." And so we like to have this segment to get out of our own heads. And one of the things that I heard you share a couple times today, and I wanted to see if this is a thing for you, is negative thoughts. Because if I put myself in the story that you told, I'm thinking as a police officer pulls up, like I'm in trouble. I think you even said when your boss calls, I thought I was in trouble. Is that a thing for you, those negative thoughts? And why do we do that? I mean, what's your take on that?
Yeah. Yeah, I do it. Like, I don't know why I do it. I think it's something that's, I guess, natural instincts. You don't think you want to wake up today and think negative. Oh man, I just don't. You don't think that it just comes naturally. And I always look at like when you want to post something, I use like LeBron James for instance. Even though he's a celebrity, he's a basketball player. He's still human. But the negative things that you get back, I know he thinks about negative things. How that's going? If I tweet this about something, what's gonna happen? And then because people don't really want to hear your opinion about certain things, and it shuts you down because now you're thinking all the negative stuff of what not to do and what to do. Like I want to make a post, but now I gotta think, how that's gonna make John, Rachel, and Tyler feel if I type this? And now I gotta think about everything else. But this is how I feel. But now since we all on this platform now, people making it seem like we no longer humans. We somebody else, and we can't make that. We can't make a statement about anything. Oh well, you shouldn't be talking about politics. Why not? I vote just like you do. Like I can't. Like,
Rachel, you had a good name for it.
Yeah, I call it head trash. And I know everyone struggles with it. If someone says they don't, they're lying. And I think, from your aspect, it makes so much sense to me to think about you are always thinking about others. And so it makes you susceptible to thinking about this more than an average person. And I think those of us that are people pleasers, and you have 3 of them here on the podcast with you too, that we always want to do right by other people. And sometimes we can overthink it. And we steal from our own creativity, our own joy, our own gifts when we're overthinking things. And thank God you didn't overthink anything in this process of this beautiful story. And you've touched so many lives and inspired, hopefully a whole generation of children who are being used as, the Walter Carr example is being used at home with them. And how beautiful it is that you overcame that. So I think head trash it's a dangerous thing that everybody's susceptible to.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. So, okay. Walter, the last thing we're going to ask you to do, if you could pull your phone out here, we like to keep this mildly a surprise, so you can't change the truth of it. But if you would pull out your phone, we want to peel another layer of the onion, the Walter Carr onion, I would add, back here in your story, and we would like for you to share with us the top 5 songs on your playlist. Yeah, whatever's the top 5, give it to us.
All right, now don't judge me, guys. I got a real playlist.
The negative thought starts.
Right there, it's starting up.
There's no judgment. This is a safe place.
Okay, so my first song, which I was listening to earlier, before, is by Big Time Rush. Yes, I listen to Big Time Rush. It's a song by like Nobody's Around.
Okay.
And my second song, I like Michael Jackson. It's by Unbreakable. I love that song. It touches me like Unbreakable. And my fourth song is The Baby. It's a new song he came out with, If I Want To. Then my fifth song is an old school song by Drew Hill, Beauty. I like it because it got a touching. It's a story behind that song for me, so I love listening to it every day. Now below that, I know it's an extra, but I like to listen to gospel music sometimes to get my day started. Get God in my head, get the negative energy off, and get the positive vibes in. And it's like Kirk Franklin, Stomp. So and revolution. So it's like it's a mix of how the day go. But that's my top of my playlist right now.
Awesome.
Love it.
Thank you for sharing that. Well,
Thanks.
Tyler, final thought?
No, just thank you for sharing your story and your inspiration and your determination and generosity and everything you bring to the world.
Thank you so much for having me.
Walter, you're a good man. I think I wrote this as you were sharing, and it said, I wrote, we all have a walk to take. And I hope when my walk gets hard that I can respond in such a graceful, kind, and courageous way like you did. And you're a great example to me, to all of us, and I cannot be more thrilled to welcome you into the GOAT family. And you're a GOAT, my friend, and thank you for being here. We're going to keep in touch with you. We're going to keep up with your story. Rachel, final thought?
Yeah, I just, you are such a great example of a GOAT that helps others. And as you were talking about this, all the examples that got used today, it's like the real GOATs are the ones that are helping others. Like, Michael Jordan was one of the people who, all the players that were on that documentary talked about how he coached them, he pushed them. And I'm thinking about all the lives that you're impacting, and thank you for just being you and showing up and just, again, being so humble and generous with your insights and your perspective on the world. It's such a beautiful thing to be reminded of. It's still out there, and you're carrying that torch for us.
Well, Walter, thank you for joining us, and
thank y'all for having
me. For Tyler, for Colby, for Rachel, I'm John Byers, and this is the GOAT Consulting Podcast.
Oh.